What's going on? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics, and up next, we're going to talk about some really cool, interesting books that I saw coming up in this next weekly Heritage Comic Auction. Thought it'd be fun to go over these. I never see stuff like this, and just talk a little bit about pricing and what can be challenging with them. Stay tuned. All right. So before we get started, please remember to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. So I was going through the weekly Heritage Comic Auction like I do every week and just going through the different books that are coming up for sale, that kind of thing. And something really caught my attention this time. So went and clicked on it and I saw a ton of these books that I never see come up for sale. These are extremely uncommon to see, and to have a whole bunch of them at once is really impressive. This likely came from one person's collection. They're just, selling them all at once. And what I'm talking about, I actually have one book from this run. The one that I have isn't part of this set of books that are coming up for sale, but this is these right here. This is Mickey Mouse Magazine. But these are the really early ones. You can see this is Mickey Mouse Magazine number 3 from 1934. They have these like dairy, they're basically like dairy advertisements. And this one's pretty cool because it's actually top of census, a 7.5 from 1934. You'll actually see that most of them are white pages. This is white pages as well. And it's a different type of paper. And so it doesn't age the same way as like comic paper. But let's get into these because there are a bunch of them that are coming up. And this is extremely uncommon. I just thought this was really cool. Would be fun to talk about. So this is kind of like my little watch list that I have put together for Heritage this week. You can see all of these. It's like just a bunch of them, one after another, after another, after another, after another. And I don't think I even put all of them on my watch list. I think there was maybe one or two others. There might have been a restored one or two that I didn't put on this list. There's just a ton of them. I mean, and it starts with number 1. You've got, let's see in here, we've got number 1 right here. Then you have number 2, number 5, number 7, 8, which one's this? 9, 12, and then volume 2, number 3. So there are a whole bunch of these. I thought it would be interesting to check these out and kind of go over some pricing and some of the challenges that exist with these. So I'm going to start with one of the little challenges that come with these. And that's going to go with, I'm going to go with number 1 for that. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And so if we look at Mickey Mouse Magazine, number 1, this is this dairy giveaway. And you can see it's Eblings, and it has, this is the image that's on the front. Now, if we go to GPA, this is where one of the things that can be tricky with GPA is that they don't have pictures. And so most of the time that's fine. But when it comes to something like this, where you can have multiple versions of the same book with the same name, you might not actually be pricing out the book that you think you are. And so, for example, this one here, it was issue number 1 from 1933. And so if you went to GPA, you'd think like, okay, issue number 1, 1933, go and click on this one. And then if you want to see like a recent sale, or not even a recent sale, there's one in 2021, 2 years ago, for 1,600 for a 7.0. But then an 8.0, it was 5,040. And the reason I'm picking this one is because this is a Heritage sale, so I can actually see the image. And so when I go to this sale, this is also a Mickey Mouse Magazine, number 1 from 1933. It's a different cover. And so if we go back over here, you can see this one, you've got Mickey and Minnie on the cover. Mickey's carrying this milk over there. Then this one here, it's not. This is not one of the dairy promotional giveaways. And so you can see how it can potentially be tricky pricing these books without images. So I'm actually going to use Go Collect in this video just to make it a little bit easier, because you can see with Go Collect, if I type in Mickey Mouse Magazine number 1, and it's going to give me a whole bunch of the issues, I get a picture right from the start. And so that will really help with the pricing. And so for number 1, for example, you can see here's that number 1 that we have on this auction this week. Then if we go down, scroll down here, here's the other number 1, Mickey Mouse Magazine first series number 1 right there. And so this really helps in this type of case where the images are extremely important to make sure that you're pricing the right thing, especially with something that's this rare and uncommon that you just don't see come up for sale very often. So let's start with this one right here. We've got the Mickey Mouse Magazine #1 and a 3.5. And you can see it's got white pages. They, like I mentioned, they almost all have white pages. Mine has white pages, and it's just because it's a different type of paper. I think it's a little thicker, almost like a cardstock. I had these this Archie promotional that I showed on the channel before, and that one was similar. It was a different type of paper. It was this thicker cardstock, and it was like an advertisement. So we can see this 3.5 going for $186 right now. And let's take a look at that. So here is that Mickey Mouse Magazine. And here's the other thing that's really helpful is if you go to this search button right here, or column here, you can actually see that it's the right one. And so it's always possible that maybe the wrong one gets pulled in, but this at least gives you that visual confirmation that you're looking at the right type of sale. I mean, look at this, an 8.5 for $30,000. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm interested in that one. Like, where did that? So that was an eBay sale. I'm curious if that's a real sale or not. Like, that's wild. Get 8.5 for 30,000. I'm guessing that has to be top of census. Let's see. Yeah, it is top of census, but I'm guessing there was a best offer situation going on there. Like, that's crazy. So I'm guessing maybe that was a best offer situation. But let's look at some of these other ones. Like, we had a 7.0 going for $616, but that was 6 years ago. We had a best offer 7.0 for 2,000. That was 3 years ago. We had it restored 4.0 for 1,320. This is the one that's probably the most useful. These two sales here. We have a restored 4.0 for 660 and a restored 4.0 for 1,320. I'm going to probably guess like maybe lean towards the lower end a little bit. We can take a look at what type of restoration it is. It's got tear seals. So it's something that somebody could have undone. Somebody could have gotten this back to a blue label. And so I'm guessing that's actually probably pretty close to the approximate value of this book. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this 3.5 sold for around $600 to $700. Now, like I said, these books don't come up for sale often. I mean, when we look at this history, 1 in 2023, 2 in 22, 1 in 21, then you didn't have a sale for 4 years. So it's not like these are books that you see all the time coming up for sale. And so you could have someone who's like, this is my opportunity to grab a bunch of these early issues. And you may have some, some bidding wars, a little bit of competition going for these, but I wouldn't be surprised if this one went for around $600 to $700. All right, now let's look at the next one. Let's look at issue #2. So here we've got issue #2, and we can look at the image here. This is the Christmas cover. And there was actually one that sold very recently. I don't remember if it was on Heritage or somewhere else, but let's take a look at this. Find the Christmas cover here. So we've got the Christmas cover, volume 1, #2, and over here, and we'll check out some of these prior sales for this book. This one is a 6.5. That is a pretty nice grade. Let's see where that sits on. That is only one graded higher. There's an 8.0 and there are 2 6.5s. So this is a very nice copy of this book, but there's only 4 sales. We had a 6.5 in December of this year. All right. I knew I had seen one. Yeah, it was on Heritage. I'm curious if it's the same one, if it's a different one. 4001. Let's check. No, it's a different one. So they're actually 2 copies. And so what I'm talking about here, so we're looking at the serial number. And so the last 4 digits are 9005. That was in Eblings. Oh, and see, it was a different creamery. So this is 4001. This was the Detroit Creamery. And so that's what I'm talking about here, is that you have the same imagery, but you can actually have different creameries that these were promotional materials for. So even though it's the same one, it's slightly different. It's like a variant of that cover. And so, I mean, it's just something that's really cool with that. And so, I mean, this one's sitting at $204 right now. This one here went for $1,920. Now, for me, I like to see confirmation sales. So the last sale before that was a 4.0 at $450, like $100 a point. This one's going at around $300 a point. It's a higher grade copy, so I wouldn't be surprised if it went for like $200 a point. So my estimate for this 6.5 would be about $1,300. And if it goes for that or even a little higher, that is what I'm talking about with like a confirmation sale for this, because this is a big sale. I mean, $1,920. That is a big sale for this book. And you don't have anything else around it to really tell you if that was just, there were two people that really wanted it. Now one of them has it. And so maybe that other one is the only one left and they're watching this one and they might get it for way less. I mean, that is something that's very possible with a unique item like this. So it'll be interesting to see what this one goes for, but my rough estimate would be about $1,300. And if it goes and matches that $1,900 sale, I mean, that's cool. That's great. But I like to get a confirmation sale first before I'm just going to straight out say that it's a $1,900 book. All right, let's look at the next one here. So the next one that they had in this run was number 5. So number 5, this was a 6.5 as well, also white pages. And I mean, just sitting at $58 right now. I imagine that's going to get some bids. So let's see, this cover is Mickey putting up this picture. So let's find that one here. So here we go. We've got Mickey Mouse Magazine, number 5. Not a lot of sales for this one to go off of, only 2. So these 2 sales we had in 2023, we had an 8.0 CBCS that went for a best offer $1,400. A 7.5 CGC 3 years ago went for $1,140. So let's check out that. Man, there's only 4 of them. So it's the lowest copy, but it's also the 4th highest, right? So it's the lowest copy on Census, but there's only 4 of them graded. These are the types of books that it can be really, really difficult. I mean, I'd probably say $900, $700 to $900. I mean, it's got a lot of work to do. I mean, this comes up for sale and it's only sitting at $58 right now, but I wouldn't be surprised, at least based on these 2 prior sales, if that was a book that went for, somewhere in the $700 to $900 range. And again, there's so few. If somebody wants to put together a collection of these books, you could have a lot of bidding on these. All right, let's check out the next one here. So we've gone through 1, 2, and 5. Then now let's check out number 7. So number 7 here, got Mickey at the circus, and let's see if we can find that one on here. Yep, here we go. So Mickey at the circus, and 4 sales. So we're gonna go off of 4 sales on this one, and let's see. This one was a 6.0. I mean, all these are pretty nice. I mean, there was that one that was like a 3.5, but I mean, these books being in that 6 to 7 range, that's pretty impressive. But we had an 8.0 that went for $1,320. There's a few more of these on Census, 10. Highest is a 9.4. Then there's a 9.0. So this 6.0 is actually on the lower end for this book. But we had a 9.0 in 2009. Okay, so these sales down here are pretty much worthless. We have a 2009 sale. We have a 2007 sale, a 2007 sale. That's not going to help us any. I mean, that's 14 years ago. What good is that one really? The only one we really have to go on is this 2022 sale. We had an 8.0, went for $1,320. That's about $150 a point. Let's say the 6.0 is a little less, maybe goes for $100 a point. So rough estimate, maybe it goes for $600. I mean, again, it's sitting at $42, but I think these are going to get some bids when they come up because these are unique. I mean, if they caught my attention when I was going through this, I'm sure they're going to catch other people's attention as well. This one is from Lewick Dairy. I wonder if these are the same dairy here. No, see, you can see Ohio Cloverleaf Dairy. This one is, what was that? Chestnut. Yeah, Chestnut Farms, Chevy Chase. And so and this one's Reeks Dairy. I mean, there's all these different dairies that are part of this. So you get these unique little variations for each of them. So I think about $600. That's my rough estimate here for number 7. All right, now for number 8. This one's cool. You got, a little bit of like aviation theme to it, and you've got Mickey and Minnie on the cover there. And so this is a 4.5 for issue number 8. So here we go. Only 2, only 2 have sold that there are records for here. So we had, and both of them are old sales. We have a 2010 sale and we have a 2009 sale. There are 6 on Census. This one's a 4.5. So second from the bottom, but again, it's only 6. So, take that for what it's worth. This is where it can be really tricky. And what I would do typically in a case like this is I would look at the other books around it. And a lot of them, what we're seeing is around maybe $100 per point in this type of grade. And so I might expect, and this is a little lower grade than some of the others. Others were sixes and sevens, so maybe $75 a point. And so for this one, maybe somewhere between 350 and 400. That's my rough estimate for issue number 8. All right, now let's check out issue number 9 here. I just thought these were cool because I hardly ever see these. I mean, when I picked up that one, it was the first time I think I'd seen one in an auction in years. And I don't remember really seeing these hardly ever on the heritage auctions either. And especially not this many at once. This is really a unique opportunity. So we've got Mickey playing golf, and these are the types of things where, like, if somebody's a golfer, they might be more interested in that one. You can see he's playing football here. If somebody's a football player, maybe they'd be interested in that, or they're a football fan. So let's see if we can find the golf cover. So here's the golf cover. So this one was a 6.0 again, white pages again. And so let's see, we have a 2022 sale for 6.5 for $1,110. We had, and then going back to 2009. So again, these sales, useless to me. so we've got this 2022 sale for $1,100. This one's a little bit lower grade. Let's see where that, and that 6.5 was the lowest grade other than this one. And so probably 900 is where I would estimate this one would go for. So the 6.0 here, wouldn't be surprised if it goes for about $900. Again, it's got a lot of work to do. All these seem to. I don't know if this little this bit of damage up in the corner is going to hurt it a little bit or not. It's a little bit of a visual deterrent, but still, covers that are going to have things like this, like golf on it, that might really appeal to a slightly wider audience. I think could get some additional bids. So that's why I could see this one being one of the little pricier ones. That, $1,100 for a 6.5, I could see this one going for maybe around $900. All right, let's see what else. So now we've got number 12. So let's check out number 12 here. I think this was the football cover. Yeah, so we've got Mickey playing football, a 3.5. This one's sitting at $42. This one, again, see, these all seem really low. And I'm curious if it's because maybe people haven't noticed them, because the way Heritage breaks these out, if you're looking for books in their auction, is they break them out by age. You've got platinum, gold, silver, bronze, and modern. And platinum, I often don't really look at too much. It's one that often has things that are actual books, where it's pre-comics really for the most part. So a lot of times there's not much that really interests me. This one caught my attention because usually I only see like 4 listings in the platinum auction. This one had, I think, 27. And so there were so many that it just made me want to click on it to see what all was in there, because I don't normally see that many books from this era. But let's see, we've got 5 sales for this one. A couple recent ones. We had a 7.0 that went for $1,140, then an 8.0 4 years ago that went for $216. And that just shows you like the variety of prices, the range of pricing you can see with these. I'm not even sure what to really guess for this one. Maybe about $400. If we had a 7.0 going for $1,140 last year, my rough estimate would be about $400, not quite as much per point. But this does seem like the type of cover that would have a little broader appeal to it, just because you've got a sports cover, you've got Mickey on the front playing football, all that kind of stuff. But my rough estimate is $400. It'll be interesting to see what that one goes for as well. Now, the last one that I was tracking here was this one right here. And this is where you can see it jumped up to volume 2. So I believe these probably came out each month. And so volume 2 is the next year. And let's see, this is January of 19. We got January of 1935, volume 2, number 3, and Mickey on a calendar. So basically for the new year. So let's see if that one is on here, if we need to do a new search. If we've got Mickey on the calendar, I don't see that one. So we're going to do Mickey Mouse Magazine number 3. And here we go. We've got volume 2, number 3. And because volume 1, number 3 is the one that I have. And so we've got one prior sale. So there was one sale in 2020. The 6.0 went for $1,560. This is a 7.0. It's currently sitting at 42 bucks. So again, this is one of those cases where we need a confirmation sale. I mean, there's only 3 on census. That 7.0 is the best copy out there. I mean, it makes me think that this is probably going to go for more. I mean, I would say at least 1,560, or let's go 1,500, and with a upper end maybe around 1,900. We saw some of these on that high end hitting that 1,900 price point. So I would say 1,500 to 1,900 for this one. This is the Matthews Freckling Dairy. So it's a slightly different dairy than this one. This is the Lewick Dairy. And what was this one? Yeah, this one was a Lewick Dairy as well. So yeah, this was just something I thought would be interesting to go over. Just books that you never see come up, and especially not in groups. Maybe you see one-offs, one at a time come up for sale. But this was almost certainly someone that was a collector of these, decided to sell probably their whole collection at once, and you're getting this really unique opportunity to see all these come up for sale at the same time. So I hope you enjoyed this, saw some books that maybe you don't normally see, haven't come across before, and just got a little bit of an idea what the value is of these, because these are the types of things that I could see someone finding at a flea market, picking up for $1 or something like that, and then having it be worth $1,000 or $2,000, something like that. So I think this is the type of knowledge that can be really useful when you're out there searching for books, because you might not recognize these. You might not think that there's a lot of value to them, but when you look at those prices, you look at how uncommon they are, how they just don't come up for sale. That's where that knowledge can really help you out when you're out hunting for books. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, all that kind of stuff. I've got more videos over here. If you'd like to watch some of my other videos, subscription button is right here. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.